KTTV.
KTTV.
KTTV, is that right?
What it do, KTTV? This is KT, and I'm coming at you live. Another episode of the Daily K Podcast. And on today's episode, man, look. I have literally the queen, the founder of the Queen Blueprint Money Management Specialist, Miss Queen Candice. How you doing today?
I am doing absolutely amazing today. Thank you for having me on. How are you?
I'm okay. Man, coming from New York, you're down in this H-Town. I've been watching you on the social media runs, just seeing what you're doing. And I want to say thank you for taking a few minutes out of that busy schedule to talk to us. You know, these little people down here in Texas, man. We trying to make it here.
Don't say that. Y'all real big because this is a big state. I was like, wait, hold up.
Hey, that's it. So how often do you get to come down here?
This is my second time. Last year was my first to actually record my talk show. And then, this is my second time.
Well, welcome to the game then. Let's have some fun. Woo! So before we get started though, wellness is a big part. So I like to always do wellness. How have you been doing since this pandemic? I know you're in New York. It got kind of crazy for a little while. And we coming out, but I don't know what's happening. So how have you been doing in between time?
Listen, I've been doing pretty great. Actually, like a whole bunch of projects kind of got jumped off during the pandemic. Yeah. So I know a lot of people, and I try to be very sensitive when I talk about this, have not had such a great time. Yeah. But the pandemic's been great to me.
Hey, look, and that's the thing. I had a friend of mine on when the pandemic, like, I want to say this was like in the middle, like getting close to July. So we had already been rocking for a few months through this thing. And he realized then, he said, look, man, if you're not taking this time where you can't do nothing but sit on your hands and figure it out, if you're not taking this time to come out on the other side of this better, man, just go. What you doing? So I know it is a sad story, but at the same time, for those who could do, you know, I want to applaud you for making it happen, right? That don't take nothing away. So, and talking about making it happen and understanding everything you got going on, let us know who you are and give us a little bit of background on how you're moving in these streets.
Oh, all right. I'm ready for the spicy story. I got a story for y'all. Yes. So I am a money management specialist, but I wasn't always that. I was actually like a corporate type of person. However, I did in fact get myself into about a $50,000 hole of debt, right? Like a lot. And it was a combination of things. It was like credit card debt. It was car loan debt. It was a little baby student loan. It was a couple of things, right? Yeah. And so I actually was able to pay off $50,000, or the whole $50,000 in 2.5 years, while building and maintaining an 808 FICO score. And I'll never forget that score because I was like, yes, I did it.
Yeah, that is nice.
Yes. And this is like one of I met someone at a women's organization, and like this is the favorite part of the story. So I gotta remember, I always gotta say it. So 6 months after I finished paying off that $50K, which means I had about $20K left. So 6 months, I got that taken care of. I saved up, and I actually purchased my first home at the age of 26.
Come on now, come on.
Months later.
Come on, man. So you know, and as a sports fan, you think about I'm down 10 points and now I'm up 10 points. So you really had a 20-point swing on them. Yes. Just turning them around and coming out of there. Wow. Yes. And so just thinking about that, going through that. Look, Laura, she said, congratulations, right? But through that, how was that mentally like on you? Like, how many times were you like, I can't do this, I quit, I'm just charging to the game? Like, how was that process?
Yeah, I never get to answer this question. No one ever asked me, and I find it very like odd. But thank you for asking that.
Hey, that'll work.
Yeah, it wasn't a complete like 50K straight run, right? So actually, at the time, I was coming off of a very like terrible alcohol addiction. Okay. And so I had been like drunk for 3 years straight. So it wasn't just oh, I got to pay off this debt. I got to also stop drinking. I got to isolate myself. I got to get myself back into a healthier mental state, right? And so having that bachelor's degree in psychology, I had the wherewithal to say, hold on, what is going on? I got to get myself together, right? And so I always say the very first step for me was to get my mind right? Because you can't just be out here thinking you're just going to pay off. $50,000 is a lot of money, okay?
That's a lot of money.
I could have ran and did so many other things with that money. I was like, no, I got to get myself out of here. So keeping myself motivated had a lot to do with a vision board. So I always say it all started with a vision board. I sat myself down one day and I was like, okay, I got to understand what's making me spend, why am I doing this to myself? Right?
Powerful.
Like,
yeah.
And so then I said, you know what, how can I keep myself motivated? And I said, I'm going to put my goals on a big board and I'm going to sit it in front. And every morning I'm going to look at this to make sure I remember, do not spend today because you have great things to do in this world and you can't do them in the state that you're in. And so that, and also almost getting kicked out of our family home because my grandmother took out a reverse mortgage and no one knew about it.
Yeah. Wow. Well, look, before we go any further, I wanted to say thank you for being vulnerable, and sharing it. Because we always on here and we talk about the good and the things we're doing, but sometimes that triumph comes from tragedy. Yes, so shout out to you for just being vulnerable and sharing that. And so in the midst of all that and going through it, you was inspired to start the Queen Blueprint.
Yes. So when I finally paid off the $50K and I documented it on my social media. And so I had all of these people hit my DMs and in the comments like, holy crap, we're really proud of you. But like, how did you do that? And can you help me do it? And so I always say that like my business was like by accident on purpose, right? Because I never saw this coming, right? However, it is very much so on purpose because when I started doing this work, it is so absolutely fulfilling to help people in my culture, people in the Black community, uplift them in that financial health. So yes.
Man. And so just going into the business, like what all do you offer? I think about the team that you put together from me looking at the pages and stuff. So first, before we can get into the team, just what all services do you offer at the Queen Blueprint?
So I offer actual, I'm not legally allowed to say therapy sessions, but money mindset sessions where we sit down and we talk about your financial trauma. We talk about what are those financial boundaries that are holding you back from completing that goal, right? And then we work up a plan to get you past that, right? So that's the consulting part of it. However, there's the other personal finance part where it's actually building out your financial blueprint. Let's look at your finances from A to Z and then create a plan to get to whatever goal you're trying to obtain in the next 12 months, right? What does your life look like in the next 3 years? A lot of people don't think about that. So that's why they can't keep their eyes on the prize because no one's ever asked them, what does your life look like 3 years from now, right? How can we get you there? Right. So that's something that we do as well. And then I have an entire team of amazing financial specialists and they're all Black. You feel me? Black
for real.
Operated businesses who are here to do the referrals, right? So I have someone who does wills and trust. I have someone who does taxes. I have someone who does credit, business and personal. I have business strategists, right? I have all these people who are here to assist you along wherever your journey may take you. And so those are the foundational signature services that I provide.
Man, and so I like to get that backstory because as I go through the world, I'm understanding that people want to believe you, right? I got to believe you, then I can support you. So understanding where you're coming from, understanding that was a real place where you learned all this stuff from, and then what you're putting together. So let's say when I come to the business, can I just say, okay, well, I don't really need the management coaching or anything. I just really want to work on credit. Can I go a la carte or do I have to kind of go through the full thing?
So with that, it's really when you come in, I tell everyone, it doesn't matter where you are in your financial journey, you need a financial blueprint. I don't care where you are. You need that check-in because it's just like a physical checkup. You need to check in on your finances every year, right? You may be missing something. And so that's my job, my team's job, to come in and make sure that you have all those pieces together. So you have to get the blueprint, right?
Yeah.
But other than that, if you want like an a la carte service, like if you're just looking for the credit repair, there is a link on the website where you can just actually get in contact with that specific specialist and they can get from there.
Come on now. Man, look, you're so awesome. That is real. Now that people kind of understand where you're coming from, the next piece is I just want to ask a few questions to like how do you help the customers and then giving information, because that's kind of what we love to do right here, right?
Sure.
Oh, but I hope people know now this lady credible. Y'all better listen to what she's saying too. All right. So in thinking about finances, right? We got the pandemic just passed. I don't know if it's coming back or not. Looking at people who were prepared, people who weren't prepared. When your clients coming in, what are you seeing are the biggest mistakes that they're making with money? And even if you want to just do one and say how you would tell them to fix it.
So let's do the emotional spender, right? So this person is the one who comes in and they're like, I don't know where my money goes, but whenever I'm sad, I spend money. Whenever I'm happy, I spend money. I don't know. It comes in my hands and it leaves my hands just as fast, right? And so the very first thing that you're going to have to do is understand your own emotions. And that's very difficult to do because we don't like to look inside of ourselves to understand ourselves, right? We're just like, well, it is what it is. I'm who I am, and you're just going to have to deal with it. But the fact of the matter is that if you don't get to the root of why you are emotionally spending, you're going to keep doing it. So a lot of us were put under some very serious stress during the pandemic, right? Our relationships were stressed, right? Our families were stressed. And so we carried around the weight without actually saying, maybe I need to talk to somebody outside of my family and friends about what's happening right now because I can't handle it, right? And so that's how we deal with the emotional spenders. We get to the root of why you want to swipe. And then once we're done with that, we start doing, okay, so now before you actually go to swipe, I want you to do this one thing for me and ask yourself why you're spending. Is it important to spend? And do you really need this right now? Right? So we're going to change that behavior. We're going to get into all that cognitive reasoning because you've made those connections in your brain to do that. Because now your brain has that signal. Ooh, this is the fastest way to make this body happy. Right? So we want to break that connection and make a new connection, a healthier connection. And so that's how we do that.
Look, when I got ready to start my podcast, I said, I'm in education. I teach people. Let's do things like that where we help. And so I'm seeing it as you are a psychology person. You really just moved it over. And now let's kind of break that because that will work for somebody who's overeating or for things like that. So, man, come on now. Okay. Okay. All right. So now on my radio show, I talk a lot about investing. But the thing is, the hardest part is investing out of that income that pays for everything, right? And trying to find extra money to pull out of that. So then I believe that how do we save? Because I see a lot of people struggling with that saving, right? So when your clients come and they say, man, look, I just can't save money. That's not what I do. What do you tell these people who struggle with saving?
So it's easier to show than it is to tell.
Okay.
And people do not listen to you telling them about themselves, right? They need proof. So again, I'm going to say that blueprint shows you proof because we're going to cancel out some things. We're going to adjust some things and you're going to see where the money is that you can actually save and invest. And trust me when I say I think the highest amount of cancellations I did in someone's budget was like $600 and something a month she was spending on things that she didn't need to spend on. And she had no idea. So
come on.
get mind blown when they see, they're like, how much am I spending on that? Yeah, because you're just doing it one by one by one. So you don't see the collective amount that you're spending on this. So I'm going to show you right here. This is how much you spend on this. And I do too. So you'll see the actual budget, what it looks like without my adjustments. And then you'll see the actual adjustment that I make. So it makes you think, whoa, hold on. Like, this is not okay. Right. So we do that. And then again, it comes back to, well, what are your goals?
Yeah.
Right. And so then we set you up with the 3 different types of savings that you should do, which is the first one is short term. Second one is long term. Right. And then your financial foundation. Right. So once you get those 3 in place, you are prepared and ready to move on to investing.
Man, you say 3 of them? I got to get 3 of them together?
Dude, and don't have a house or a car because you're going to have a lot.
Oh, Chuck, look, now you know what we talked about for the pre-show. So you know what, hey, look, I'm with it. Like when you got that house, you better save something because it's going to be real on you. So how long you been doing this total?
So officially, I just made 3 years 2 days ago.
Okay, well, happy anniversary.
Thank you. Yeah. But unofficially for 4 years, because I actually started in 2017. And it was like when I was like almost 75% of the way of paying off the debt. And then when I actually finished paying it off, then I said, okay, now I'm going to make this official. I'm going to do this because I've completed the task. Right. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
and one of the things when I was reading, and what we talked about today was just the mindset, which is what we've been going through.
Yes.
And so for you, were you the first person? Like, did you know these? Were you exposed to this growing up and like you just didn't do it? Or did somebody, or are you the first person to turn the tide?
I am the cycle breaker in my family. Yes, I am. I'm the cycle breaker. I didn't know anything. I didn't know about credit cards. My very first credit card, I ran that thing up. And the crazy thing is I was good about finances all the way up until I got that credit card. And then I lost all control. So I actually maxed out my first credit card and got it closed. So there's that. And then as far as actual financial literacy, I had none. The biggest lesson that I had about finances was that every year come tax time, you just binge spend. Right. That's as much financial.
You know, that's what we do.
and couponing for groceries. That's as much as I knew about finances. Right. So I had to do a lot of education, a lot of research. And so that was a part of the process when I started creating and molding and shifting into the Queen Blueprint.
Come on, man. Wow. That is something though. And so in New York though, with the hustle and the bustle. And so you just going through, you in Brooklyn. You decided to put the business in Brooklyn. So are you out of the office with the team? And if so, like, man, how you doing this? New York is hard. Like, what's up? I mean, from what we know in the South, I mean, like, you got to be like a beast up there, right?
So the great thing about the pandemic is that it showed everyone that virtual is a possibility. However, the Queen Blueprint was always virtual.
Yeah.
It didn't actually become a physical location until this year. So I had a virtual address in Brooklyn, and that's how I registered my business. But I didn't have a physical location until this year.
This year.
That's how I survived.
Wow.
Yeah, I really use like co-working spaces. I didn't have an actual office.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, and so then thinking about that, tax time just passed, right? And so y'all serving entrepreneurs. You say you can come in, get your business credit. So then when do you work with them specifically on the taxes, or you kind of push that to the partners?
So I take on the front end, which is the intake and seeing what they need. And then I push them out to the partners. However, that's on the personal side. On the business side, we all work a little bit more cohesively. So it's more so of a team effort. Like, hey, I'm the head person, right? So this is my client, and I want you to walk them through this, that, and the third. This is what they need. Okay, queen, got it. So I have somebody who is the business mentor who can sit down and talk to them bi-monthly. This is the strategy that we're going to do, and then they hand it over to me, and I do the financial accountability, right? For the business credit, that's more of a done for you service. So while you're going through making sure your business is registered properly, making sure you have everything in place that you need and how to scale and all that fancy stuff, your business credit is being built out simultaneously, right? And then from there, you go to that scaling stage, right? So how do I get bigger? Right. And so we just actually started partnering with an amazing, amazing Black business who actually franchises small businesses. So that also another leg of it where we bring Black businesses onto the continent, so on into the motherland. And then another one where we create that resilient business income for you. That
hold up, wait a minute. You cannot pass by the motherland like that. Hey, look, what you doing with the what you doing with the motherland? Slow down and talk to us about that one.
Talk to you about the motherland. Okay, so what we do is, and my business partner and I, you get what's called a business blueprint. Now, the business blueprint is going to show you what your 3 profit centers are and how your business can fit into each. Those 3 profit centers are business to consumer, which where we get stuck at, right? So your business needs multiple revenue streams, just like your personal finances needs multiple streams of income, right? So you get that business to consumer, that's where everyone usually is. Business to business, which is possibly that franchising model, or affiliates, joint ventures, any of those kind of cool things. And also, bringing yourself onto the motherland, right? Yeah. So if you branch out into let me do the business to government is the last one in case anyone's trying to follow.
Now that's a nice one too.
To government. And I have a Black business who helps you with that as well. Back to the motherland. So this is what we do. We bring your business out there, right? You have to register it under a whole different type of entity because they don't do LLCs out there. They do what's called a limited company, right? So LTD. So now you have to create. So let's say the Queen Blueprint, right? It's not the Queen Blueprint LLC anymore. It's the Queen Blueprint LTD, right? So that's what's going to be out there, that financial clinic there, right? And so now you can operate like normal, right? You do whatever it is that you were doing in America, you do it out there. That's it.
So then, do you have to go over there as you get more into it and set it up, or you having to kind of get over there and get back?
So you do have that option to come over, and we will be doing 2 trips. So a C-suite experience, as well as for those of you who just have never been to the motherland, you just want to come experience it. We're going to have that kind of experience as well. However, for the business owners, you guys don't necessarily have to come out. We do all the work for you. Right? So we build the business out, we get the attorneys involved, we close all of that. And then you let us know, well, how do you want to operate? You want to operate strictly like virtually? You want to actually have a physical location out here? Do you need workers to come in on your behalf? We'll staff that for you. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we build it out for you. You don't necessarily ever have to touch the motherland. However, I believe every Black person should.
And they were like, oh, can you flex your bicep real quick? Can you look? Because you're doing a lot of flexing on here today. I appreciate that. Hey, look.
So I will say this is very important, right? How do we build wealth, right? It's not just about buying back the block. It's not just about buying back the zip code, which a lot of us have started to do, and that's freaking amazing. You guys are great. However, your financial foundation needs to be international. Why? All of the Asians uprooted from their businesses for an entire year and they didn't break a freaking sweat. How did they do that? because their financial foundation is not in America. It's in Asia with their home countries. So we have to operate the same way. Where is your homeland? Let's go back there to your homeland. And for you Caribbean folks, because I'm Caribbean too, I'm whole Asian, right? So if you want to go back to your island or wherever, you need your home base for your business to be there, for your family wealth to be there. So that way, if anything does happen in America, which we see that it can, right? It is not invincible, right? We now realize that. So now we have to make moves the same way that every other culture in America does.
Come on now. And so you here in the city, you got the event coming up for Saturday.
Yes.
Talk to us a little bit about the whole situation that's set up for this week. Well, first, talk to us about how has the week been in the H, and then tell us why you're here.
Oh my gosh, so you guys are very welcoming. It's super cool here. I don't know about this heat though. So hey. I'm used to Caribbean heat that moves. This heat don't move out here. Okay.
No, it's just dry still.
But yeah, it's been pretty great. I had an amazing photo shoot that came out flawless. Oh my, and I don't want to take photo shoots. I just don't. Yeah. I get very uncomfortable and awkward. But Mika and Brandon were absolutely amazing. Mika staged me. She gave me the directions. How do you face this? Do that. Do this, that. And Brandon took the shots. And let me tell you something. These shots are A1 shots. Okay? A1 shots. I almost cried. Cried. Okay?
Man, shout out to B, man.
Exactly. Been doing that, and then a couple of interviews, workshops, all that cool stuff. And so now for Saturday, it's going to be a business panel. So you guys are going to hear me speak. But then I'm also going to have a table. So if you guys are like, well, Queen sounds amazing, but I don't know, right? You can come out and check me out. You can purchase a blueprint. You can sign up for services and all that cool stuff.
Wow. Okay. So, man, after that, do you have, I know you got the business set up. Does that leave you any time for anything like this as keeping it in the virtual and master classes and Patreons, anything like that? Are you set up like that?
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
I figured it. I just wanted to bring it up.
So I love being in person though, just because of the energy exchange.
Yeah.
However, yes, I do virtual. I still have virtual. I actually have clients in Houston. I just came back from chilling with a client, like, hey, let's go out for dinner. Let's talk. Let's do your session live. Right. And we just met in person, but I've been her financial coach for about 2 years now. So yeah. I do the virtual thing.
Hustling, man. So, what's next for you? What's next for the Queen Blueprint?
So the next thing for the Queen Blueprint is to get franchised so that I can have clinics in every major city that we are in. So places like Houston, places like Jacksonville, Florida, where I'm needed, right? And so it won't be me every single place, right? I'm going to duplicate what I've done in New York and New Jersey out in these different cities. And so that way you can come into a financial blueprint clinic and it's a financial one-stop shop. You don't have to go to anybody else. You can just come here, get the financial blueprint, which is essentially your diagnostic, right? And then it'll shoot out, hey, you need this, you need that, you're missing this, you're missing that. These are the people that you need to go to, right? So you get those referral sources. But each clinic will have its own team, right? So I have the major team, but then we'll have little teams in each clinic. And then franchising out to Kenya is the first step, and then eventually all throughout the continent.
Come on, man. Laura just said she was working with Kenya on some things. So look, it is happening out here, man.
Happening.
So, I don't even know. So if I want to contact you and get everything set up, kind of talk me about what does my first session look like at the Queen Blueprint? Like, what do we talk about?
Yeah. So I do want to say that there's two ways that you can do it, because I know that some people actually don't like to give all of their life stories and everything out to some stranger. So you can actually purchase the financial blueprint without ever actually talking to anyone. So it's fully automated process. You can just go into the shop, purchase it, and get all the financial information that you need from that. However, if you are one of those people who likes to talk to somebody and you need step-by-step processes, you still got to get the blueprint. Didn't I tell y'all what I said? Get the blueprint, right? So you will still have to do the blueprint. However, when we come onto the session, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to ask you, hey, how are you doing today? What's going on? What are your financial goals? How are we doing? You do an intake, which is just questions that I ask about your financial situation, about your money mindset. And so we go through that. We'll review the actual intake process. What did I see? What kind of money script do you have? Right? What type of spender are you, and all that cool stuff. And we'll have that conversation. And then we'll get into dissecting your blueprint, right? So what did I see in the blueprint? Well, how much stuff we need to cancel out, right? All that cool stuff. And
Yeah.
That dialogue, and you'll get to ask questions about what does this mean, right? And it also includes a credit analysis. So you'll actually get to see your 3 credit bureau reports as well as your 3 credit scores. And so we'll review that live as well. And you can just ask all the questions that you have. Like, okay, Queen, well, this is great. I want to get here. So how do I get here, right? So it can also be like a strategy session as well.
Yeah, that was nice. And everything is just set up. So a part of what we do on the network is really talk about also sharing that information and giving back. And so how are you in New York kind of empowering even young ladies or just a community like of Brooklyn as in giving back to them? Are y'all doing anything up there now?
So right now, I actually I have a nonprofit. It's called the Empress Initiative. And so the Empress Initiative is to bring, young ladies into the financial industry, into the media industry, because I have a streaming service as well. And so just mentoring them through their own financial situation, and how do they become entrepreneurs? And if they want to do this, what are the steps to take? And so they kind of like shadow a financial specialist. Like, okay, well, Queen, I think you're great and financial psychology is cool, but I really want to shadow a credit person. Like, how do we get that going, right? Yeah. And so what they'll do is they'll leave me and go with the credit specialist that I have on the team, and they'll shadow her. Right. And so because I have all of these amazing financial specialists at my disposal, they do too. So they get to work with whoever it is that they want to work with.
Wow. Nice. Come on, man. That's what I'm talking about. Queen, you done set it up there, man. Just so awesome. I don't know, man. It's a big world, but it's a small world, right? But at the same time, when you don't know people and you get to meet them, and you see the impact that they have in their area and how they're expanding it, and now it's here in Texas, right? And so we're talking about it here, Kenya. So just awesome work that you are doing. I might have to go and get your information because I might have to have you lock in for some of my young ladies at my elementary school. Yeah. So just be ready if you got to go down. Mika already know how I do it.
I speak at schools. So
yeah, so that'll be awesome. We have a young ladies conference, and I always try to just get just young ladies who are trailblazing, and who offer something for the future, just the same as I do with the young boys. So, man, you just keep doing that work up there, please.
Thank you. I will. I am.
So, how do I contact you? How do I find the business? Man, and just give me everything.
Everything. All right, y'all ready? If you want to actually call or text, yes, you can text this number, even though it's an 877 number. So it's 877-387-BLUE. That's what the numbers spell out. So 877-387-2583. But if you can't remember that, the last 4 digits spells out BLUE. Right? You can go to the website, www.thequeenblueprint.com. You can also stalk me on social media at The Queen Blueprint on Instagram, Facebook. And if you're a Clubhouser, you can stalk me on there too. _Blueprint.
That's it. And everything's the same. You ain't got the And I also like the connection. I mean, when you said about the program, the Empress, right? So just keeping it all together, royalty. Yes. Awesome work you're doing. I want to say thank you for taking some time out to stop by. I look forward to cutting this up and just sharing even more tidbits that you dropped in this thing with the people. Man, and I got to keep up with you. I got to see this. Plus, we might have to try to get this KTTV in Kenya. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that.
Let's get it.
Hey. All right. Well, thank you for pulling up on us today. And I look forward. Give us the information about Saturday one more time.
Yeah, so if you need the information on Saturday, you're actually going to go to queencandice.ceo and subscribe. I will send the information out there because I actually don't have it yet. But it is the business panel and the vending event. So I will have an actual table. And so once I get that information, the solid information, I will send that out to you guys. So make sure that you go and subscribe.
Okay, and give it to me. I'll share it out.
Yes, I will definitely.
That'll work then. Okay, well, I sure appreciate it that time, and we look forward to that. So have a great evening, Miss Queen.
Thank you so much. You too. Thank you for having me.
All right, this is KT for KTTV signing out. 100.
This is Darnell with Broadcast Houston.
This is Dr. Tamara Beckford.
Hey, this is Candace.
This is London Underwood.
This is Kirsten Bass with Inner City Greens, and you're watching.
Y'all are now tuned in to
KTTV.
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 KTTV. Is that right?